Hey everyone, welcome to the Glass of Milk Kitchen. We're not actually going to be talking about food today. I thought that it'd be a really fun day to do my first vlog post, which is a video blog. I love when other bloggers do these, and so I'm not sure why it's taken me so long to think that it might be fun for me to do one too. So here we are, we'll see how it goes. One reason that we're not going to talk about food today is because, well, really the only reason, is because I have so many leftovers right now. My counter is full. I don't know if you can see over there with the foil. That's the leftover rhubarb cake. It's the leftover peanut butter chocolate chip bars. And then my fridge is teeming with leftovers. I have leftover udon noodles. I have leftover steak that my husband grilled. So you'll see the recipe for that soon. And then as soon as we get through some more of those leftovers, you'll see new recipes. But I figured we could take today to talk about one of the items on my summer list that I try to do actually pretty much every single day in the summer, which is walk to the library. Love the library. I'm a huge fan of libraries. I worked in a library when I was 13 and 14 in a summer reading program. So I'd have the kids come talk to me about what they read, and then they'd get a little sticker for their chart. They could win prizes, I think, at the end of the summer. I fell off the library bandwagon, I guess, when I was old enough to start getting furniture and bookshelves, because we know I love to style a bookshelf. So I would go to Borders, RIP Borders, or Barnes & Noble, and I would just buy all these books. I would come home with a stack of books. But what I realized gradually is that I was buying all these books, and then I would go make another trip and buy more, and another trip and buy more, and I wasn't actually getting to all the books that I bought. I hadn't read them. And of the books that I read, I really only enjoyed maybe half of those. So I was spending all this money getting these books that I couldn't even say that I had read. It just didn't seem like the smartest decision I'd ever made. So I started going back to the library, and a plug for DC libraries. They are fantastic. My little neighborhood library is great. I know all the people there. They know me. I'm there all the time. So I pretty much always have something coming in off the hold shelves, or I'm just browsing to look for something new. When it comes to reading, I have a bunch of different ways that I get recommendations for books. I have, of course, recommendations from friends, and Wooden Nickels gives me recommendations as well. But I'm pretty attuned to Amazon. I go on there a lot and check out new books, what's coming out. Magazines like Real Simple usually have recommendations for good books. And then I see plenty of things on blogs as well. And these days, tons of bloggers are writing their own books. So and then of course, I find books just from browsing the shelves. I'll just pull something out that looks interesting. So my reading tastes are pretty wide, and I get my recommendations from so many places that I hope you'll see there's a lot of different material on this list. So I'll start with the one that this is the only one so far that I actually have read or really am in the middle of reading, and that's Bloom by Cal Hampton. You can see I've read about this much already, and I have about this much to go. So I'm really enjoying it so far. It's by Cal Hampton, who blogs at Enjoying the Small Things, and this is about her journey that started with the birth of her second daughter, and as soon as her daughter was born, she found out that her daughter had Down syndrome. And so it's just about her journey through motherhood, and you can tell, with the title Bloom, it's uplifting. It has a great message, and I'm really enjoying it so far. The first night that I sat down to read it, I've read this much already. That was in one night, and most of the time with tears streaming down my face, just because I really think she's writing honestly, and there's a lot of emotion in her words. So that's the first one I'm enjoying. The other book, this is completely mindless, but I'm so looking forward to reading this one, is The Girl's Guide to Love and Supper Clubs. It has a pink cupcake on the cover with a heart that says love. Like, come on. Like, don't you want to take this to the beach? But the reason I picked this up, this is just one I found at the library while browsing the shelves. It's by Dana Bate. And the reason I bought this one, I think it takes place in Washington, D.C. So I figured pink cupcake on the cover, takes place in D.C., like this is a summer book. So I'm really looking forward to reading this one. Total fiction, total girl book. Can't wait to read it. And then for something slightly more serious, this book is called Tolstoy and the Purple Chair. This is one I heard about, I think in a magazine I heard about this book, and I put it on my list right away. Was glad to see they had it at the library. This is about a woman who makes kind of a pledge to herself to read a book every day for a year. So 365 books in 1 year. And I'm fascinated with that. When I'm at the beach, I can usually plow through a book in a day, but definitely not for a year. And I'm also a total sucker for books where the author tries something for a year. So like an Eat, Pray, Love or The Happiness Project. I read the book where the man tries to live by every single word in the Bible for a year. There's one where a woman tries to live by all of Oprah's philosophies for a year, and that's another one that I'm dying to read. But I thought this one looked really fun. She gets her recommendations from her kids, from her family, and then she pulls some books that she hasn't read yet that she feels like she ought to have read. So I'm looking forward to this one as well. This next book is one that I saw on the Today Show. I think it's called Until I Say Goodbye, and I saw a feature about the author, who is Susan Spencer Wendell, and she found out that she was diagnosed with ALS, so Lou Gehrig's disease, which obviously moves pretty quickly and shortens your life pretty greatly. And so she sort of made a bucket list and started crossing things off, did all the things that she really wanted to do. And it was about, I think, my year of living with joy. I think the message of the book is really that she chose to spend this time living with joy. So I think one of the things, if I remember correctly, is she really wanted to see her daughter try on wedding dresses, and I think her daughter was like 18 at the time, and they went to Kleinfeld's, and her 18-year-old daughter tried on wedding dresses so she could see that. So I'm excited to read this one. I think it'll be sweet and touching, and I'll probably have tears streaming down my face during this one too. The next book, this is one that I just totally found on the shelves at the library. Didn't know about it, didn't have any ideas about it, but it was short, which and it had an interesting cover, so don't judge a book by its cover. Oh well, I did. And so this is called Ways of Going Home. It's by Alejandro Zambra. And when I flipped to the inside of this book, I found out that it starts during a huge earthquake in Chile, which is where my husband's family is from. And so just instantly thought this would be something interesting, and reading about a place that I've been to, albeit a fictional account, I thought would be fun. So this is a short one, so I'll let you know how that goes. And then the last book is probably the one that I'm most excited to read out of all of them. It's called Penelope, and it's by Rebecca Harrington, who I had never heard of until earlier this week when my husband was studying for finals in the kitchen, and I had the computer in the living room, and I was cracking up. I was reading an article, and I just couldn't stop laughing, to the point that my husband called over saying, "What's going on? What are you laughing about?" So Rebecca Harrington wrote this article for New York Magazine, and it was about trying Gwyneth Paltrow's diet. So based off her new cookbook, I think it's called It's All Good, and she decided that she wanted to eat like Gwyneth for a week or two, and her account of doing that is hysterical. I mean, it's just so funny. So as soon as I read it and cracked up, I Googled her to see if she had anything else out, and in fact, she had written this book. So it's Penelope. It's about a girl who goes off to college. I want to say Harvard. Yeah, steps into Harvard Yard for the first time. And so I think it's humorous, but also I'm sure it'll be along the lines of like Prep or I Am Charlotte Simmons. So I'm so looking forward to reading this, because if you can take those books and infuse some serious humor into them, I'm there. So this is probably the one I'm most excited to read, just based on that article. And I'll link to that article in my post, because if you haven't read it, you have to. So, dear readers, I would love to know what you're reading this summer. I would love to know if you've read any of these books and what you think of them. And I'm always looking for new suggestions. So leave me a comment and let me know what you think. Can't wait to hear from you. Bye.